The world is in the grip of the climate crisis. Both predictable and unpredictable impacts are unfolding across continents. One way to mitigate the impact is through adaptation, projects that adjust the actual or expected effects of climate change. For small island developing states, African states, and least developed countries, adaptation is crucial. According to estimates, the cost is likely to range from $140 to $300 billion annually by 2030. The Green Climate Fund has committed to delivering 50% of its financing to climate adaptation that prioritizes vulnerable countries. The significant amount of investment raises the risk for corruption, mismanagement, and integrity failures. In turn, it may result in maladaptation. Maladaptation aggravates existing climate risks or creates new unintended risks for the communities in the area. Take this example. A government agency financed an adaptation project to relocate nomad communities from areas vulnerable to floods and droughts. But the program ended up disrupting their lives, alienating them from their traditional lands and water resources. Vested interests of decision-makers, coupled with corrupt behavior of high-level public officials, resulted in widespread discrimination against minorities, causing conflict, violence, and human rights violations. Although a mix of factors result in maladaptation, we also see integrity failure, a cross-cutting issue, as a significant cause. We need to ensure that integrity and anti-corruption measures are embedded in the projects from beginning to end. Corrupt decision-making in adaptation projects and programs may be driven by opportunities to make money, short-term political agendas, the capture of resources and power, or opaque decision-making that excludes vulnerable groups, minorities, women, and youth. Powerful lobbies from dominant sectors like mining, agriculture, or the water sector can assert their influence in the process. Some adaptation projects can only be sham adaptation, designed to benefit only a few. As climate action and integrity champions, what can we do? First, we advocate for further research across key adaptation sectors to understand the consequences of corruption. Second, we identify best practices and share lessons learned in reducing corruption. Third, we encourage collective action at the global, national, and local levels to reduce corruption risks. Fourth, we develop tools and undertake integrity risk assessments to mitigate integrity failures. Fifth, we ensure greater transparency in project monitoring and inclusive participation in the decision-making and accountability process. And finally, we promote zero tolerance for corruption by imposing consequences and corrective measures. We also champion whistleblower protection and encourage people to report prohibited practices. The need for adaptation is urgent. We must act together to safeguard these projects for our planet.